So we're continuing to talk about reasoning, advertising, and persuasion, continuing our exploration into various forms of argumentation and how they function in everyday life. We'll keep in mind Aristotle's notion and design of a syllogistic argument, and also the way it's often used as a practical enthymeme or a partial syllogism. Now we encounter enthymemes that allude to oftentimes a hidden syllogism in everyday life. And we can look at this definition here created by Aristotle way back in the days that still holds true to this day. A syllogism is simply an assertion or a claim that is backed up by a series of premises. Now, these premises, while might be logically accurate or sound, oftentimes rest upon societal and cultural norms that are anything but objective truths. So we might look at the difference between a truth and an agreement. Agreements are opinions that are generally accepted, while a truth is something that can be demonstrated without a doubt. And so the difference between accepting an opinion or agreeing on a truth and demonstrating a objective truth, there's a large territory in between those two, but they oftentimes get used as one and the same as we argue for our side of any given issue. Something might be like ancient Greece is the first democracy. You might even find that on a test situated in the classics field in a Western university. Now, you know that particular structure in that particular class in that particular test, you should probably mark that yes, ancient Greece is the first democracy according to the textbook of that course, for example. But that is not a demonstratable truth. We really don't know when the first democratic or participatory type of society arose. And so a small differentiation there between demonstration and acceptance. So claims of fact versus claims of judgment. We often make claims of judgment and think that they are claims of fact. For example, professional athletes or professional athletes in baseball, football, and basketball in the United States are well paid. You might be able to demonstrate this and state that this is a fact. Now, a claim of judgment might be something like professional athletes in those three sports are overpaid. Now, they are well paid for the most part, but are they overpaid? That is a judgment call. Logical fallacies. If we look at logical fallacies, we can see where certain logic and so these syllogistic arguments break down. These are very interesting to point out, and they oftentimes are deployed as sound logic. And so false cause. And so we see this in advertising all the time, that a product, and oftentimes a product we really don't need, like a soft drink, or gum, or insurance, or even certain types of medication, oftentimes have a false cause that if I take this or consume this or buy this, something else will happen. Usually I will become better, or have more friends, or be happier, as in the case with Coca-Cola. We're not opening up a sugary drink, but you're opening up a bottle of happiness and becoming happy. And so there might be a correlation there. I have time off. I have enough money, so I buy a drink of my choosing, and it makes me feel good. But there's not causation there that drinking Coke indeed makes people happier. So false cause, our first logical fallacy. Ad hominem. Ad hominem attack a person rather than an idea. And we see this in its reverse effect in advertising that oftentimes relies on celebrities to endorse their products. And so this is often called the halo effect, that if someone has credibility and is good at many things in society, then that will spread out into whatever they do or endorse. And so in this case, Selena Gomez and Pantene shampoo. Now, we might go back to fact and agreement. Does Selena Gomez actually use Pantene shampoo is up in the air. But the fact that she does endorse it here lends credibility from her success over to the product, and it works. Advertising is ubiquitous and effective. And so we see it almost everywhere, and we see it almost everywhere because it works. And so, a non sequitur, the conclusion doesn't necessarily follow the reason. And so, we see that in this ad here, which is also kind of gendering a particular product. We saw it in that adage there: if it walks and talks like a duck, it is a duck. We can find many instances where if something walks and talks like a duck, it isn't necessarily a duck. An animated depiction of a character, a duck character, for example. And so the conclusion doesn't necessarily follow the reason. Once again, very similar to false cause, where there might be some sort of correlation, but there is not a logical causation as we follow the syllogistic premises to the final conclusion. A circular argument, rewording of a claim as an argument. And so we can see this over and over again. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, kind of these euphemisms that just say things in a circular manner. Illegal immigration is illegal. It's supposed to be an argument, but it's really just rewording the claim, and there really is no premise here. And so oftentimes we see the credibility or the logic ingrained in the single signifier or a simple phrasing of symbols. Dependence on authority. And so the endorsements and the celebrity endorsements, that halo effect, that credibility. And we could see this once again in everyday phrases: do as I say, not as I do. Because I am your boss, because I am your father, because I am your coach. We often hear this as a reasoning or a logic behind supporting a certain claim. You should do this, for example. And so this is dependence on authority, relying on status. And we could see it a little bit there in even Burger King's title. Burger King, they are the king of burgers, right? That would be a circular argument, just rewording the label, but it's already in the label. Burger King, their mascot, is a king. And so Andy Warhol here, post-mortem, somehow endorsing Burger King, and Burger King gets a little of Andy Warhol's credibility. And so relying on status, really a doubling down on status, dependence on authority. We really don't hear anything good about the burger or why we should eat this burger. Yet, if we want to be like Andy, then we eat Burger King here. And so advertising, as we move from syllogistic argumentation and Aristotelian rhetoric, we'll start to look at advertising, a specific communication for selling a product, service, candidate, or idea. This really fits Aristotle's model devised in his text, The Rhetoric, written over 2 years ago. On page 1, he says, rhetoric is the counterpart to dialectic, and that rhetoric can be defined as all available means of persuasion. And today we just see advertising everywhere. It's ubiquitous and it's effective. Wherever you might go, wherever you might look, you will most likely see an ad. And we see ads and we see so much money spent on ads because it's effective. And we can see how influential symbolic structures are. And the more we add to symbolic structures and the more we reinforce a particular symbol according to a particular meaning, the stronger it gets and the more we will tend to embrace and start embrace that symbol and start to see the world accordingly. Thank you.